Hello, everybody. I am so excited. Here we are. It's day one, and I cannot think of a more blessed, wonderful opportunity than to get to kick today off with my dear friend, Dani Worrell, who is here today to shed some great wisdom on us and give gifts to us from within her. And I'm super excited. Dani, do you want to say hello before we dive in? And
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I am just so excited to just talk all things intuition.
oh, I'm so excited. So, on that note, Mrs. Dani, intuition, right, is often seen as a mysterious or even magical concept. So,
Mhm.
how do you, like you yourself personally, define intuition, and how has it played a transformative role in your journey?
Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, right? Intuition has so much mysterious around it. And really what it is it's our true inner knowing. A lot of the times it's more of a feeling, right? It's that gut feeling. It's just an instinctual response that we have to something. So interesting enough is that kind of the science behind it is that research actually shows that our intuition is incredibly accurate. So we have this inner knowing, this inner knowledge that is within all of us. Um, but a lot of the times we tend to ignore it or not trust it. So I'm really excited to kind of dive in more about what that truly is. So, again, a lot of the times our intuition is more of a feeling, right? That gut feeling that you get. Say, for example, you're in a situation, you're in a parking lot and you're walking to your car and you just have this eerie feeling and you kind of look behind you and maybe there's someone behind you, right? Like that is you, yourself being like, pay attention. So once you can kind of tap into that and take away the mystery around it and truly kind of dive in and learn to listen to that feeling and to trust that feeling, it can really provide some amazing results for you. But it can also be a really great guide to help you throughout life and making different decisions.
So I'm wondering, and maybe you can help, because I know, and right, how to hear our intuitive space. But I'm thinking about those people that are, like just beginning, like they're already going, yeah, but okay, how do I do that? So for those folks that are just beginning to explore that intuitive side or just getting introduced to that, what would you say is that most important first step to unlocking the inner wisdom?
Yeah. The most important first step is creating a space for your intuition. So, and what I mean by that is taking the time to quiet things down, right? Around you, within you. All day long, we are bombarded with information, whether it's through the news, it's social media, it's our friends, our family, it's our conditioning, how we were raised. We have all this stuff like layered on top of us that really influences a lot of our decisions. And if you are able to quiet all of that down and really just sit with yourself and listen to yourself, that is the first step to untapping your intuition, is taking the time to quiet everything down and truly just listen to yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
So if we lean into that,
Hmm.
okay, one thing I know to be true, and I know you do also, is fear and doubt, right? Like
Yes.
they just get in the way,
Oh, yeah.
especially when
They
it
are the
comes,
number one culprit.
yeah, especially trying to trust that gut feeling, right? Like that fear and doubt. So how
Hmm.
can someone learn to distinguish between fear-based thinking and genuine intuition, or what strategies have worked, for you or your clients before?
Yeah. So I think it's important to note that, figuring out your intuition and figuring out what is fear and doubt, a lot of that, this is all a journey, right? There's no black and white, right, wrong way to listen to your intuition. It's going to be different for everybody. It's going to come up differently for everybody. Again, some people it's going to be a feeling. It's, they get chills all over their body when something happens that is, in line or maybe not in line with what they are. So things like meditation, mindfulness, journaling, these are practices that can really help you figure out what's fear and what's intuition. The hardest thing about it, and the biggest piece I really hope people can take away, is learning to trust it. Trust is the number one thing you need, but also the hardest thing to achieve when it comes to your intuition.
Mm.
So, a lot of the times with journaling, that can really help you figure out, okay, I'm sitting down, I'm writing all of these thoughts down. What is fear? Out of this list that I've created, what are these things that are actually maybe not my thoughts, but things that I've been conditioned to think and feel? Okay, I'm going to take these out because these are fear-based. And then that will give you a visual way to really kind of weed out what's true and what's not.
Mhm. So and I don't know, me, I love the good old fashioned, storytelling, right?
Mm,
And really kind of, relating and sitting into this space, for a little bit. And I know I have tons of stories, right? About talking about, when I, leaned into that intuitive space and had, profound change. But I think, if folks could hear from you, somebody who at the level of work that you do as an intuitive medium, right? Like,
mhm.
I know firsthand what it's like to work with you and to be in a space with you. So, but hearing from you, you know, when it's transpired for you, like really being able to lean in and hear what does that look like for you, or even one of your clients that you taught, like how did they move through those blocks and get to that deep connectedness.
I think again, it's a process, right? So, the two I think most important tools are going to be meditation and journaling. It's really a personal process, right? It's getting to know yourself. It's getting to a point where, you're able to push the fear aside and truly listen to yourself and know that what you're hearing, what you're telling yourself is in fact the right answer. Um, I'm sorry, I totally just drew a blank here.
Okay, we all do.
Uh, with my journey, it was very much personal. It took a lot of inner work, a lot of meditation, a lot of journaling. And I did seek outside guidance as well from other spiritual guides and light workers. But really at the end of the day, it it was me who did it. There's no magic way. It's doing the work. It's doing the meditations, it's doing journaling. It's taking time for yourself, which is really hard to do, right? Like if we could all have an hour every day that we just meditate, journal, like everything would be so great. But that's just not realistic, right?
Well, I challenge everybody, like I think I think we lie to ourselves when we say we don't have an hour to find for ourselves. Because I truly do believe that we can all find it, and using it as a space to truly get to know ourselves on that deeper level. And I like to break things down into categories, life categories, if you will, whether that's spiritual, whether that's family, social, I don't know, right? Like I do know, because I have it all broken down, right? In the
Right.
systems that I lean in. Because if something's off for me, I'm not going to try to do this broad brush assessment of myself. I'm going to say, like, well, where is it? Right? Like right
Mhm.
here, right now, in this moment, I feel off. What's driving it? I have to be willing to sit in and move through all the uncomfortable and dig through that anytime it's necessary. So I can't say, like, I don't have an hour to give to myself, because sometimes it's an accumulative hour, and sometimes it's a solid hour.
Right.
And and it has to be that way. So if we're gonna say, like, oh, like, oh, we don't have the hour, one, first, like, intuitively look at that. I don't know, like, intuitively, do you really not have an hour? Because I'm
Right.
pretty sure I could find that first hour for you in the time period you spend on social media. You notice that this event is not on social media. It's not, just, it's in a very secure space, right? Like, it's,
Right.
here. So anyway, I definitely don't want to hijack you there, but yeah, we do. We do have an hour to give to
We do.
ourselves.
We do. Um, and kind of, I like how you talked about doing like an accumulative hour. Like okay, if you can't dedicate a full hour, and maybe it's because of timing, maybe it's because of your attention span, right? You don't have the attention span to sit for a full hour and focus on yourself. That's okay. Take 5 minutes, take 2 minutes, be in the shower, while you're washing your hair. That's a really great time to get in tune with yourself, right? So it's finding the time throughout the day to practice. At the end of the day, it's like everything in life, I feel like it's all about practice. This isn't a destination. There's not, oh, I've tapped into my intuition, like now I'm done. I've got it. It's in the bag. No, not really. Sorry, life doesn't work that way. So it's, recognizing that it is a journey and it does take practice all the time. And if you can make this a daily practice, you will see incredible results, not only just with, with your intuition, but just getting to know yourself better. And I think that's the biggest piece of this is our intuition is a part of us. And it's a part of us that has very easily gotten buried. And so take that time, do a little digging, right? Yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's not it's not sunshine and rainbows. A lot of the time it's dark and it's emotional. But once you get through that hard part, that's when, you get a little slice of sunshine and rainbow.
Sunshine and rainbow. And I love that you have mentioned here several times, and hopefully everybody is picking up on it. It's a practice.
Hmm.
And and I like to refer to it also as a way of being. And so it doesn't mean, come in and learn, you know, how to tap into your intuition one day. Like, don't work up to it and go, I've arrived, I'm done. No,
Right.
it's, like, I've learned how to feel it as it's represented in this time and space. Now I need to learn how to do it in every time and space that comes next. And
Hmm.
and so it becomes a way of being, a way of becoming, a way of operating. I could, add infinitum, right? Like, and I think that society as a whole has really adopted a lot of, well, I'm gonna use the word myths, right? That
Hmm.
sure, we can say we do recover. But that doesn't mean that life isn't still work. That I don't still, like I say, I mean, I don't identify as somebody in recovery. I don't identify as a sober being. I don't identify, I don't identify any longer with things that in my life, seasons that I visited before,
Uh-huh.
because they've come and gone. So they're not part of who I am today. But what is part of who I am today is how I got here.
Right.
Right? The steps, the methods, the practical application of different psychological tactics that serve me. So, like tapping into my intuitive way of being, like I get to go, oh, intuitively speaking, this brand new thing that I've never experienced before, but how, right? Like, so the myths is that, oh, I don't have to continue working on it. Like I've already arrived. Like, I don't have to.
Right.
So what are some of those, myths and misconceptions about intuition that you see, and what's one of the biggest misunderstandings that you encounter when it comes to this? And then let me throw in even a little bit more complexity so that you can debunk a lot of things. But how do you help people pass those doubts, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Myths, misconceptions, doubts, whatever, when it's
I think I think the biggest myth and misconception is that um, you don't have it. You don't have intuition. People they will come to me and they'll be like, well, how are you medium? Like, how do you know? How did that happen? And it's not like I just woke up one day and was like, you know what, I'm going to be a medium today. Like, it took a lot of years of experiencing life. And like you were talking to, right? You've had all these experience, all these things that, you don't necessarily cling on to today to define yourself, but all of those things have been building blocks in your life to get you to where you are. And so, um, you know, we all have intuition, and it's not magic. it's it's self, it's knowing, true deep knowing deep down in your gut. That's your intuition, and we all have it. The biggest piece, again, that and I have helped clients with, is just truly getting through that fear. And that really fades away once you start doing the work. You can sit around and think about, oh, well, okay, so I'm going to meditate and then I'm going to journal. And like you can run this rehearsal in your head over and over and over again. But if you're not actually doing it, if you're not actually doing the work, doing the journaling, doing the meditation, you're not getting it. So you have to do the work. And once you start doing that, you'll feel it. You'll gain that confidence within yourself again, because it's like you've reignited yourself. So
ooh,
it's all about the work.
that's juicy right there. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that, but to hear that we all have the capability, to operate from a whole different playing field, right? is
Right.
I think is just such a golden gem. And so, I'm all about practicalities. Like, I teach the practical application of psychological tactics to people in a way that will serve them in their lives, not as I use it, but it might be the same tactic I use, but how I use it, it's not for, so if we look at in a practical sense, how do you recommend people start using their intuition in everyday decisions and across multiple categories? Because I think people don't do that enough. They don't
Right.
they don't try to do things differently with with their spouse and their kids at home than they do with their broader family reach, or their social circles, social circles, or their professional circles. they just try to whitewash everything. And well, it works here, so it'll work everywhere. Anyway.
Yep. So a practical exercise that I think is by far one of the best is visualization. This can be such a powerful tool. And it truly is just imagining your desired outcome and connecting with the emotions that arise when you think of that outcome, right? Um, just tapping into that energy alone, is a really good exercise to tapping into your intuition. Another tool that can be useful for people, if you are like a really vivid dreamer, okay, you wake up in the morning and you remember your dreams, write them down, start a dream journal, because your subconscious communicates to you through your dreams. And it's offering insights, it's offering you information like these little golden nuggets, right? That we might overlook when we're awake. So if you, first thing in the morning, if you're a very vivid dreamer, write down your dreams. Just keep a dream journal. Just write it down. And I think you'll be really fascinated to see what comes up in your dreams and how that relates to, your waking hours and what's going on in life.
Check me out. I muted myself because I was talking and then forgot to unmute myself. I got so excited, but I'm truly excited because I think, listening back through this, right, after this recording space is over and taking my own notes and doing this journey alongside everybody else here in Unlocking Personal Excellence, right? Like I'm going to start here and I'm going to start with, with your recommendations, because all of these things are just going to be building on each other. And I think it's just, I'm just excited to try things new, right? Because the more we can build on things, the person who's sitting here saying, "Oh, I got this. I already do that." Maybe you're not the right person, because I don't know. Like I've studied behavioral psych for a long time, and I still, right? Like I'm still always eager for that,
Right.
for that new thing. And I potentially froze.
Yeah. I'm like, I can hear you, but
Yeah. So, yeah, and that happens. And you know what? And I think I mentioned it in the welcome video. Like if Trisha ever freezes, like it's okay. If you can still hear me, great. Otherwise, I will do my best to cut those out of the recordings. But, so, I think we all always have room for growth. Like I have never truly arrived. I think actualization is something that, continues to happen. So, Dani, you're offering a freebie, right? You're offering an opportunity to those folks who actually book their feedback call with me, right? Those folks that do that book that feedback call are the only ones that are going to actually gain access to the freebies that all the speakers have. And so you're offering for everybody that does that to put their name in a hat to raffle off a free intuitive reading. And I think like I know I'm not eligible for it, but I know I'm signing up for another reading. I've done one, and I think that, like it was mind blowing and soul touching and just
that makes me so happy.
So energizing. Like I'm like, wait, I want more time. So I'll be doing that. So I can't tell you guys enough, but could you give us a glimpse of what that experience looks like and how it can help people gain clarity or direction in their lives?
Absolutely. So a session with me, what that looks like is we'll both kind of start off meditating together. And really your job in the reading is to just focus on your breath and focus on keeping your mind clear as best as you can, right? In that time though, when I meditate that's when I will connect with spirit. And that's when information starts to come through for me. So I can hear, see, and feel messages. So here I will audibly hear things. Seeing is like they'll show me images or pictures of things. And it's almost like I don't see it like I see you right now. It's like dreaming with your eyes open, right? I'm seeing that with my third eye. So and then feeling, I can feel energy. So whether that's feeling it from somebody who has passed over, I can feel how people have passed over. So it's very interesting. So with the
Mhm.
reading, a lot of the times people just kind of want general, like, oh, I just want to know, what comes through. I really love those because a lot of the time it will be, loved ones who have passed. Sometimes it's spirit guides who come forward for that person, but a lot of the times it will really kind of connect to what's going on currently today for them, in a way that, they weren't even thinking of it. So, for example, I had a reading and I believe it was her great aunt who came through. Um, and they were talking, this mantra just kept coming through, just saying, why buy the milk when you can buy the cow? And I said that, I'm like, does that make any sense? And she goes, oh my God, we are looking at a investment property right now, this investment like opportunity. And I have not been able to make a decision on it. And I was like, well, they're telling you, honey, buy the cow because you might as well. So it's really cool to see the different things that come through. My favorite thing is just being able to, give people a peace of mind to help them see that they are on the right path, or to help them gain some kind of closure from a past loved one. So it's
Yeah,
amazing and I love it.
we won't go into my experience, but if anybody wants to know my 2 cents or my input or how, they want to hear a little bit more about what my experience really looked like and felt like, and why I was, just so moved by it, please feel free to reach out. Or hey, ask me in your feedback call. And I will definitely give you, those answers. But don't want to, take up any space here. I want to make sure that, we take the time here to Dani really lean in and let you, if there's something about the worksheet that is below this video, right? That's reflection worksheet, that prompt that really helps you go forward and do these things that Dani is suggesting, or any key takeaways that you hope everyone leaves here today.
I mean, number one key takeaway is that yes, you are intuitive. Yes, you have intuition. Yes, you have this deep knowing within you, and you should listen to it because it's pretty right on. But also, I think it's important to note too that, intuition doesn't replace logic. I don't want that to get skewed, right? It doesn't replace logic, but it complements it. So once you can really kind of harness and learn what your feelings mean, how this message comes through to you. I just lost you. Um, how this message comes across to you. Um, all my stuff went away. Sorry.
uh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I love organic, being in organic spaces, and that's why, I was
There we
super excited to be able to, just record these, although albeit guided conversations with people, um, you know, because you get to hear us in our true space, and there's hiccups, and I'm not going to be
Yeah,
trying to go some pro editor and get out hiccups. We're just going to go a few minutes over, like whatever.
right. We're figuring it out. It's fine.
Are figuring it out. What you guys didn't see beforehand is I had to pull out my archaic old, beater of a computer just to even show up. And like, hey, whatever, here we are. And like intuitively speaking, we knew that this was the time and space for us to record this. So anyway, back to you.
Yeah.
And there was the intermission.
Yeah, that was our intermission. So again, intuition does not replace logic, right? But it does complement it. So once you can really truly start to listen to yourself, you're gonna see that. You're gonna see that in the decisions that you make. You're gonna see that, you're gonna feel it in the decisions that you make when they are aligned with your intuition versus when they're not, right? Think about a time, if you can, of a time that you went against your intuition, your better judgment, right? I know I personally,
Something that's coming really forward for me, and it's like I really feel like I need to give this to you to address, because is people think that they intuitively know. So I see people make decisions to not address a topic with their spouse, or to not take a chance on something because they just feel like intuitively they know that they know what that person is thinking, they know what they're going to say. It's all negative, 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 and I feel like it's that fear-based whatever. But it's like, so they think that that's their intuition, when I say it's more of a premonition or a projection or a presumption. But I mean, maybe you could talk into that for a minute before.
I feel like that's when you kind of have energy, right, bleeding into things. So, like when you talk about the negative, right? Somebody who's like, oh, I'm not going to do that because they're just going to say this. And it's just everything that they're spewing out is negative. Well, that's that needs to be addressed first, right? Like you have to make sure that your energy is aligned with positivity and with light, right? If you're walking around and only everything that comes out of your mouth is negative, like I always think of Debbie Downer from SNL.
Yeah.
If you're just a Debbie Downer walking around,
it's the why bother person. Why?
yeah, why bother? Well, you should bother because it can make your life a lot better. Um, but yeah, having energy, um, okay, somebody's messing with my computer because everything just went away again. This is
Telling you,
wild.
there's something happening.
There is.
Something happening today.
Okay. Well, okay. We're just gonna try this. I don't know what's happening. Um, when you have somebody who's just really coming from a negative space all the time, like let's and this is kind of a separate thing, right? Is energy. What you put out is what you get. So if you're consistently being negative, you're consistently finding the negative or finding the doubt in things, well then that's probably what your intuition is going to tell you too. It's going to be negative. It's going to be that same frequency that you are putting out into the universe. Everything that happens to you, right, is a reflection of you. Things don't happen to you, things happen for you. And it is all based on your reaction, right? So I'm reading a very interesting book right now, Intro into Power. It's a yoga book. And Baron Batiste is the author. I was seeing if I had it here, I'd pull it up for you. But, they talk about in this book, how it's our reaction to things, not things. So the example they use is being stuck in traffic. Okay. Yep. Traffic happens every day. Every day. Yep. When the only time though that traffic affects you is like when you're in it. Right. So right now there could be a 45-minute pile up on the freeway, but because we're not there right now, it doesn't
Yeah.
affect us.
Yeah.
But when we are in that traffic, that's when it affects us, right? So then it's about, okay, let's shift that. Instead of, I am stuck in this traffic, I am frazzled, I am mad. It's like, well, or you could say, well, there's 45 minutes to myself I didn't know I was going to get today. Maybe I'll do a little, little inner work here while I'm sitting in my car. Or maybe I'll finally listen to that podcast that I've been wanting to listen to. So it's really energy, coming down to the energy and realizing that what you put out is what you get back.
I love that. I love that. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. Um, and before we, you know, let everybody go, and I highly recommend you guys like make sure you download the worksheet, make sure you dive in and you start doing some of the work, putting this into practice, especially as you move into the other presentations over the next few days or all 11, however long you choose to take. But jump into the community where the chat is, right? There's a chat for each day. There's also a general chat to share. So make sure you're engaging, because we can help you in that way. But I want to make sure, Dani, that we've got all of your key takeaways, or that one final last thing. And then again, guys, get your name in the raffle. That's all I gotta say, is get your name in the raffle, or make sure you do something to make sure you have Dani's contact information.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I would love to do all the readings. Um, so I guess final thoughts, right? Again, I think it's super important to really drive home that untapping your intuition is not a destination. It's a journey, and it's a journey of self-discovery. Um, so embrace it, right? Embrace your intuition as a valuable ally. It's a powerful tool, and it can guide you through life, different challenges and decisions. So trust it, nurture it, and let it illuminate your path.
Thank you. Like I just love having you in my space. So I could go on with Dani for hours and hours. So we're going to just kind of say, like, take that, let it soak in, push stop, rewind, listen to it all over again, so that you pull out all of the juicy tidbits that I know I heard and I'm gonna do. Get into the community chat, and we will be there to receive you, and hopefully chat with you again soon. Dani, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. This was so wonderful.
Thank you.